Oh, so you were just
Can
looking
I
for
ask you
everything.
something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir.
Okay, let's have a look at this.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Item number 1. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item 2. Patrolling officers expect to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Item number 1. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Item number 2. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Yeah, it's absolutely... Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell.
Stop being guilty then. What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing?
Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable.
We'll have to...
You might just see me as a wife of policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am.
I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you.
Exactly.
No excuses, I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you?
You have been.
Yes, Mrs. Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
It was a very loud mutter.
I heard that. That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he?
We didn't say shit!
Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't.
Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue.
Jesus fucking Christ. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder?
Uh-huh.
A sense of direction.
Okay, press that statement.
Mrs. Beat, nobody's questioning what you've told us.
I saw it, I did. That evening I saw it clearly. That little eastern man with the whiskers, the funny curved back, sticking away from the scene.
Ah,
And I know what I did see as well.
He didn't cross the road.
I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky.
the books were flaming. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction.
Oh yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross.
Excuse me.
Constable Beat, is there a problem? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening, is all. I mean, Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident. Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. It was gone a fair bit longer than I was expecting. Thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15.
Well, that's such a big difference.
Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. The reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly.
Bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about?
That was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rolly's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies.
Halfpennies.
He found in the halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds.
It is from halfpennies, but it's pronounced halfpennies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've never seen it spelled like that.
Mm.
Yes, how romantic.
Forgot all about it till just now. Had you, my darling?
Huh? Ah! Oh, yes. That was just between us. Talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to. Problem is.
Really? Oh.
What was that all about?
Hang on, I gotta get my medicine. But I'll keep pressing the button.
What was that all about? Principal Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange.
I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet.
The Bucky. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. I could add details about it to your testimony, please.
Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to.
Fucking idiots.
Ben?
Alright. Oh, what happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
I mean, you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime.
Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset.
Tampering with evidence.
When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back, I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice it at first.
And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on.
Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, there was no one near the victim's body at all. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Self-report!
Maybe she didn't know. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased.
I lost listened for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably.
Literally gaslighting her.
That's right, silly me. I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street.
Oh, you thought it was on that side of the street? No, no, dear. You just have a terrible sense of direction. It was over here. Oh, you silly woman.
How many times has he done this?
Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there. I really can't.
So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite.
Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting.
A bouquet. Do you perhaps mean this sorry, solitary rose?
Oh, yes, that's it! It's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary, with all bits of change he found in the gutter.
Let's bring up the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose.
Rose by any other name.
Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower?
According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garrett household.
Yep.
In front of the Garrett house. Huh. Although it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It's believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Can I have it back now, please?
It's evidence, bitch.
No, I think for good measure this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. Oh. God. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget this beat. Mrs.
New
Beat.
headcanon is that the judge is Charlie Brown's ancestor.
Alright.
No one else is allowed to say good grief.
So do we present the rose and we're like, This shit moved. How did you not see it?
Yeah.
Objection.
Yep, there we go. The music stopped. That's how you know we were right.
Apparently that isn't
They-
always the case in this game. In this particular one.
okay.
They stopped doing that.
You claim, Constable Beat, that there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. That cannot be. Cannot be.
And then, watch this. They're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, we saw the body from across the street, so she dropped it there and then went to get help. And we're gonna be like, you didn't see the fucking body from across the street because it was too fucking foggy!
Yeah. What do you mean to say?
In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby. Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road where the victim was attacked. Considering the size of that meager bouquet, a single sorry bloom can be so described. No doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs.
Meager?
But if that were the case, did Constable Beat not testify to the fact?
No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honour.
It belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Roy didn't mention it, I'm sure.
No, because sadly it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garrideb's book. Mr. Garrideb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife. It struck the pane of the casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here, at the scene of the crime, on the east side of the street. But in fact, is actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. There's no logical explanation for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them.
What are you trying to say? Oh shit. The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. You listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Whether you're on about books and bouquets, why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is.
Good. Mrs. Garrideb's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garrideb.
I call it base.
Deliberately meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called,
Tampering. Tampering, Mr. Naruhodo.
The person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it. A very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection.
Tampering. You barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception?
And then also present evidence that demonstrates this cause to carry out this deception.
Yes, there is someone who tampered the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person.
The judge.
Counsel. Oh shit.
I think it was the Southern Belle.
Counsel, I must demand you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you
Well,
saying?
actually, it was definitely
tampered
Iris.
with the scene of the crime?
Take that.
Only beat, obviously.
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat, it was you!
What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London.
It's true, he is married to a woman. Mrs. Beat. Said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty.
Do you think she puppets him with the scarf in the bedroom too? Anyway.
Probably.
Wait, what?
I said, do you think she puppets him with the scarf in the bedroom too?
What?
Scarf stays on during sex.
Oh my god. Anyway,
I
line.
said thing.
Oh, you did? Oh.
You were busy laughing.
Sorry.
15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it.
You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it's him. He did.
He doesn't even have a whisker-like mustache. If it was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it.
Well,
And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene.
well.
Objection.
I'm angry now. First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. Your accusations lack one very important thing.
Evidence.
You claim the crime scene was tampered with. There is only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something.
Oh,
It's motive.
that's right. He's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there. That's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
Stupid anniversary. You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. Until you do, accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Indeed. Consul, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
I didn't have a reputation to begin with, so that's fine. Yes, my lord. Constable Beat's motive of tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell to the ground. That was what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road. We saw what happened, remember? It was right there, as if anyone didn't already know.
Certainly what everybody has been led to believe. In fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all.
What? What?
What?
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel.
If that's your assertion, the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
Take that.
On his beat. What? What's that?
On the opposite side of the road.
I don't understand.
On the evening in question, Mr. Yadov's book fell directly down from the open window above. In your bouquet, Mrs. Beat never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
What? Good gracious!
Objection!
But why?
Don't like that. Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. These witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place.
That's right, I saw it with my own eyes.
It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was a typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, it was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It can't have been.
Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. During the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print. The victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Extraordinary.
The constable overlooked one thing.
What? What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume. Exactly.
The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Ziek said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet. It was found in its original position, on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory on what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Rowley Beat.
Oh?
You gonna turn all sinister now? Well, I'm very sorry. I mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Really? Isn't true, is it? Well, the lawyer said it's all lies, isn't it? I know this because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream. Terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all.
Good golly!
Smalley.
Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all this? Oh, really, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it?
It's not a corpse!
Wishing the victim dead should be one too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? A respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town.
Can sleep in prison, sir. I can't say, sir.
What?
Really, I'm ever so sorry about all this. Damaging the art's reputation. Oh, everything. I have a possible explanation. Why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman.
I guess Lord Van Zieks is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Post over the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence.
At once, my lord. England, Japan. There's no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions.
Yeah, I think it's the warrant card.
Why else would we have it? Oh,
This is more why he had to do it to pursue his motive. His motive was he wanted to go to his anniversary.
yeah.
Okay.
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land. I've only just arrived from Japan. Guessing the other thing is for post-case, when you, like, talk.
No, I think it's going to be like,
Maybe.
but why would it interfere with his anniversary? And it's like he was obligated to help with the crime investigation if it was.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like that's... Oh, you know... Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I learned that, though honourable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly.
For Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? How?
Have you heard anything that has been said? Account of this bouquet, my lord.
Oh, shit. No. Oh, yes. It was our very first wedding anniversary.
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. He was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal.
Fuck. Damn.
When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road,
No,
he saw that
that's-
shadowy
that's
figure.
antiques.
He saw that shadowy figure through the fog and collapse on the pavement ahead of them. It must have gone through the man's mind. Sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B put up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says... A crime is discovered on his beat. A policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives.
Uh-huh.
Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said, it's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Exactly.
Mary said it.
It didn't come through. Gotta get a better mic or something.
My mic is perfectly fine. I don't know why it's not coming through.
There's probably your settings, or your Discord settings or something.
It could just be like the packet drops out at exactly the right moment.
No, it's always like the start of when you start talking.
Yeah.
It's your Canadianism.
Ah.
To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
I'll figure out later. Wait, I missed something. Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done?
It was the first time since I became a copper I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat! The criminal could still be lurking somewhere! We ran over to the scene. I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. To report it to the station as quickly as possible! Then it dawned on me. Realized where we were. The victim was lying. What that meant for me. A crime is discovered on this beat. A policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. I hear. Why did this have to happen here? Why tonight of all nights? Why? Copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth.
I can't believe the words that are coming out of my kid's mouth.
This is the next beat of mine, Pat. I'll have to go to the police box that covers it, and right along Meerschaum Street, and then... Are we just gonna ignore who actually threw the knife? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Constable.
I just wanted... Just that one night. Take my Patricia out for dinner.
Oh, Rolly.
Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. So you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. See, I thought... I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
Your pardon? Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Roy would never have left the poor woman in the freezing cold pavement. Ah, I see your meaning now.
God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat.
Oh no, Rolly, that was all my fault. Should never have dropped in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly.
And can you please tell us, Constable,
Shit.
how many books...
Too many books.
How many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total? Oh, 4 it was. Yes, sir. Definitely 4.
3 of them dropped
Gee.
by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garidab household, of course.
But why did you place the book in the victim's hand? And all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir, it's because that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? We first ran over to the scene. Deacon was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. Sure was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. Thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. But only the 2 people at the scene. Pat and me both saw it happen. Either which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who done it. Though, couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I had it. My lord.
Yes, Lord Van Zeeks.
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir!
Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. Police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late.
Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired.
Alright then, my love.
One last thing, Constable. Huh? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Follow that lesson in your mind, player. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
This sounds personal.
Never again, sir? You mean to say... Leave. Now. The trial is not yet over. Sir!
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transporting the entire scene of a crime like that?
Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime. No! I disagree!
Okay, Colress.
Though we know that the true scene of the incident... Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife from the victim's back.
Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Fanzix, is this true?
No, Uru. Very well. Name the person, if you will. If further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing.
You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime.
Take that!
Yep. John Garrett.
Defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again.
My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garrideb.
Oh, dearie me.
Not Mimi, you. That request has already been denied.
Bruh.
The situation is very different now. Mrs. Garrideb, answer me this.
Do you want now, you little toad?
At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garrideb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road.
Well, what of it?
You threw this book at your husband, and he was cornered with his back against the window. On striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way what we now know to be the true scene of the crime.
Incident.
Yes? And as I said, what of it?
During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you this one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back. Have you really never laid eyes on it before?
Uh... I don't recall it.
Seriously?
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? But anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection.
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. See, I can do it too. Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You're not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. Does Bruno Mars is gay?
I was also thinking that. Ben?
Did you fall asleep? I think you may have. Well, that's awkward.
Oh?
Yes? Hello?
Okay, cool. My mic just stopped working for some reason, and I've switched to my laptop mic.
Huh. Maybe there was something wrong with your mic then.
I was fiddling with the settings to try to figure out if there was something wrong, and then it just stopped working.
Oh my god.
So,
Cool.
Oh, okay.
but this is a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere.
I think it's common or garden. Like,
Yes.
it's like a phrase.
Oh, common or garden knife. Where? We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know?
What's that? Are you joking?
What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Garadeb.
So what if I commonly like to throw knives at my husband? That's not a crime.
Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it.
Oh, the poor woman.
No, not poor woman.
So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop. Do your worst.
Well, if you insist.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. Literally. And take the stand, juror. Prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks.
I'm going to have to testify. Juror number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate having observed it with your own eyes today, witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrett. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. This is the part where they start bonding. It's such a strange feeling. First time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey. I'm a lawyer.
Why?
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes. My name is Joan Garrideb. And I'm, well... I'm a juror, and such like.
Sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or maid or what anymore.
The judge, the court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam? Yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me.
Chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about now.
No, you were here, John.
Ah, we can see him from the front.
Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you?
But what about your knee, dear?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Oh, John. I presume you are Mr. John Garrideb.
Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Seen my fair share of action, and now living the quiet life, as it were.
The quiet life. Do you not engage in an incendiary battle with your spouse of the day in question?
Well, yes, quite.
I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question.
Sir, at once. The Battle of Karateb. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'd have a job proving it, I think. Okay, we're gonna go at this from the angle of you guys are struggling financially, so there's no way you'd be like, oh, a knife, we lost a knife, whatever. Like, I bet you don't have like
Yeah. It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening.
Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems, because it's only funny when a woman assaults a man.
Yeah. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself There's only too aware that on every battlefield you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment.
Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife.
In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. And Zeeks may well be right.
Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Well, counsel, begin your cross-examination.
We can't go for much longer.
Hmm?
Can we, try to wrap it up soon?
This is this is the last thing of the trial, but, there's usually a bit of talking afterwards, so, I don't know. It's up to you. We can wrap it up and do a short one next time.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Alright, I don't know how I'll edit this, but, yeah, we'll see. If this is the end...
So next time...
Hang on, if this is the end, I'll say... Yeah, thanks for watching. Next time, we'll look at the testimony of these two.
Doors behind them look like chocolate.
I've always thought
Next time, the Battle of Garadeb. Live.